Hey guys, I have a blank journal collection for you tonight, and I wanted to show you these since I've switched things up a bit since my last video, and yeah, here they all are. There are about as many blank ones as used ones, and I'll show you them individually here in a second, but I really like just kind of browsing through my blank journals every now and then, so this is kind of what this video is going to be. My current two journals I want to show you first, and it's this one. And this one's a little bit more than halfway done. I've got googly eyes on the edge, and then this one. I was using this one for like a month and a half, and kind of didn't really get too far into it, and I just felt like switching things up, so I started using this one too. So I'm going to finish this pink one, and then use this one as my main journal, and then this is a secondary, so I'll eventually finish this one. I don't want to just rush through this one, so I'm kind of putting it to the side for a little bit until I really feel inspired by it. I don't know if that's really the word I'm going for, but until I really just feel like using that one, and I think that size and paper will do it for me. I'm using this one next. It's a Piccadilly Primo. I've wanted one of these for years. I saw an orange one in one of Crystal's old videos, and it's a soft cover, and it's just a 5x7. I really like that size. I put my lucky number on here, and then I put my other lucky number inside of here in a sticker. It's just the number 2 and this number, my favorite. It's kind of ironic that the number 2 is my lucky number since I say crap a lot, and I have some actual crap stickers in here. But yeah, in elementary school, we'd wear potholder bracelets and friendship necklaces, and for some reason I just wore each of those. I'd always wear them for 2 years each. So 2 just stuck, and then this number I think I just chose since I kind of like the number 7, but I was wanting something that wasn't everyone's lucky number, so I just picked this a long time ago, and I put it on the front, and I painted the edges, and this is more portable, so this will be fun. I hope this isn't too many, I hope I don't have too many blank journal collection videos, but I have added new ones and also kind of given away a few to friends since the last video, so there are some different ones. And I put some of my old childhood diaries in here that I hadn't used, and some from my kind of young teenage years. So there are some in here that you've never seen. But like this one. This one I gave myself for my birthday. That's this coming week, and yeah, but I bought myself some crap, and this is one of it. I've been eyeing this for a while. It's really ornate and kind of matches the colors of my house. I sometimes like matching my journals to my room. If I have leopard print sheets, it's kind of fun to have a leopard print journal at the same time. And my house colors in my living room are kind of burgundy and dark green and gold. So yeah, this one's neat. It's got this on the side, and the lines are a little bit light, but it does have lines. And the lines are a bit large too. I don't usually go for this size of journal, so I went back to the store. I waited to see if to think about it before I actually bought it. And yeah, one of my parents likes elephants and has a collection, so we had a lot of elephants in our house as a kid. And my grandma actually had some elephant planters in front of the house, so we still have those. It just kind of reminds me of that. And she had ornate, kind of not really Asian-y, but kind of exotic looking furniture. Like the detail on some of her furniture this kind of reminded me of that a little bit. So yeah, there's that. This is gonna be such a mess throwing this stuff on the side, but I'm just gonna go with it. I guess I could put it back in the container, but that's a lot of effort. Anyway, I bought myself this for Christmas, and it's a soft cover. It's a Barnes & Noble one, and I glued the pages on the front to be more like a normal journal. It's one of the ones that has the leaflet style binding, and I sometimes glue these together, just make it normal. This actually got kind of smashed on the back, but maybe I'll cover that up or something, duct tape it. I was taping it kind of quickly, so I kind of goofed it, but I'm gonna put a pocket on top of this anyway, so I'll cover it up. But I mostly got this, I like the design, and I wanted a journal for Christmas. I put it back, and then I waited a while. I'm like, yeah, I need to get that. Just the design, and we'd had a family Christmas, and that's incredibly rare for us, like once a decade. It's usually just seeing family friends, or the young family, seeing their friends, not our family friends. But we actually had a family Christmas this year, and I wanted something to remember that. And then also, I got it from where I live, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna live in the same kind of area for long. So I got it for that. And then we'd met up with some old childhood family friends at a bookstore. They drove all the way here to meet up with us, and we got to see them. And then earlier that day, we'd seen some other people I used to know when I was really young, and pretty much I think I've known them really my whole life. So we'd had a nice day, a pleasant family Christmas. And then we saw some old childhood family friends, and instead of just seeing my parental's young college student friends all the time, we actually saw like actual family friends and spent time as a family. So that was neat and rare. So I got this to remember that. I'm gonna put some pictures of the Christmas in here. And let's see. This one is another one, like I actually have two of these. And one, we went on a family vacation last year. It was a rather hellish year for my family. It was lost the last grandparent, and a lot of relatives just aren't doing good. Lost the last great aunt and great uncle on one side, and that kind of nixes family reunions. And the poor man had a rough time. He'd decided to have heart surgery, and a hurricane hit his city, but he survived that. And then it was probably like a few weeks, I think it was, maybe a month later, that was that. Or it had to have been a little bit longer than that. But he had that in July. Oh, it was a few months. Okay, so he survived in his 90s heart surgery, and then a few months later, that was that. He had too much wrong with him. And it was sad because he wanted to try to, medically fight everything wrong with him. But anyway, we had a horrible year, and more job layoffs for mine and people in my immediate family and stuff. But we got to go on a family vacation last August, and I randomly saw this in a bookstore, and it was the only one left. It was on clearance. It was about $6, and this is actually from a museum in the UK, and it has this kind of neat pages like this, and there's two of them in here, but I think one's in the front. But anyway, when I saw this in a bookstore in Florida, I bought another one. I'd actually bought one of these and had it shipped from the UK last year. I just thought it was neat. So when I saw another one in store like it, and they're not even made in this country, I just thought it was really cool, and I got another one. Just kind of, oh yeah, on this one I painted over this. These people look like they want to haunt my soul, so I painted over that. So I'll probably paint over this too. But I think it'd just be kind of neat to use like one of these now, and then use one of these in a few decades, and just kind of, I don't know, one of them could be a gift to my future self. So that's kind of why I have two of those. And then this one, I got, these were, at a local bookstore, these were clearance, like 75% off. So this was about $6 or less. And then some of these, I got a few of these were less than $4. I've never seen these that cheap. So this one is one, like I used a 5x7 in this design a handful of years ago, and I really liked it. It's got ornate edges, and I've never used one this big in this brand, so that was really pretty, and I couldn't resist the price. And then this is another one. This one has plain edges, ruled pages, just normal, but these are really elegant books. And then these, they're like all, I think it was 6 of these plus a Bando pen case I got, all for a little over $30, about $32, and I've just never seen that good of a deal. When I took it to the register, I'm like, these aren't really 75% off, are they? And she's like, yes. She's like, I'm gonna buy some later. I've actually found a decent number of cashiers lately who have been interested in what I am, which is kind of interesting. When I went to Sam's Club the other day to buy myself that G2 pin set for my birthday, the cashier was like, do you like pins? And the poor lady, the poor girl was, yeah, she just had to pick me to ask that too. But yeah, she apparently likes pins too, and she's like, I wish I was still in school so I could have pins. I'm like, you still can. I thought about being like, here's my channel, look, watch my video, for the love of God. Someone needs to. But she liked pins, and I was just like, I wonder how creeped out she'd be if she saw my pen collection after she said I had a lot of pens and like a pen case of like 5 pens, and she thought was a lot. But it's really neat to find someone interested in what you like, which is really why I like YouTube. I mean, how many people would sit here and watch a blank journal collection that I know? Like, they'd be like, what, why? I once in Tiny Town, an old childhood friend saw that I'd ordered a bunch of Moleskin. I think I'd actually brought them with me to Tiny Town because online ordering wasn't really as much of a thing back then. This was like 2007. So I brought some with me to the middle of nowhere because I figured I wouldn't be able to get them in local stores, and you couldn't. So I had maybe 9 or 10 Moleskins that I'd saved up in Spurs and brought across the country with me, and she's like, why do you have so many? So I'm like, if she saw that now, she'd be like, and then quickly run away. But anyway, this one and this one I've been wanting forever. I've been wanting this one for years, and it's a 5x7. I've never actually used a magnetic one and filled it up. I don't like the noise when you do that, but I like the look of this enough that I think it'll work for me when I'm not adding too much in a journal. So if you cram these full, I don't think the magnet would really stay shut, but they're really neat and vintagey looking. And then one more magnetic one, this one. And this is called Hurricane. It's, I want to say, inspired by Japan. Sometimes in these they say what the design is from. Refers to the meditative practice of decorating Buddhist paintings anyway, it's in Japan. I mean, it's designed from Japan, and that was one of the best things I ever did for myself, just giving myself a vacation to Japan when I was young. And it was the first international trip by myself, which is cool, and this kind of reminds me of that. It's kind of interesting how we buy stuff that either reminds us of some happy time in life or is something that we think we'll enjoy in the future, and we can picture ourselves like, in a nice vintagey looking library writing in this one. Like, we picture how our life could be with a new item. But anyway, this is the other one. And I've been tempted to get this one a few times over the years. And this was less than $4 on that clearance. They're usually... Wow, $16.95 is the suggested retail price. So it was really a good deal, and I like the size. But yeah, that one. And then this one is... this was the one I've been meaning to give to my friend. So I guess I have 75 blank ones. This one is one of the ones that fits in those leather covers, the Oberon ones. And the paper in here, you can put paint on it and it holds that, but it's just too bleach white a paper for me. So my friend said she would take my extra crap. So I'm actually going to give that to her. And then this one, I don't think I've included in a video yet. I've gotten this more recently. I once had a typewriter as a kid, not because I'm elderly, but my elderly grandma had one for a little while. So I had one for a few months. I'd type up these little invitations for my friend we'd have we were little kids, and we'd have little doll slumber parties where we'd have little doll stores, and we'd make each other little stationery sets they could like fake buy in each other's stores, and then we'd watch a movie and put the dolls out and dress them up and have a little tea party with them. So this kind of reminds me of typing a little cute crap like that as a kid. And I used one of these journals, I think it was 2013 or something, in the gray one, and I added enough like washi tape and stuff to make that journal thick, and I could not get this thing to the clasp to stay shut back then, and that drove me crazy. So I haven't used one of these since, but I'm going to give it another try since I don't really add in as much right now. And also, since that old gray one, it got smushed enough in my journal collection that it actually thinned back out, and now it stays shut reasonably well. But yeah, there's this one. I really want the one that has pins on it just because I'm obsessed with pins and the color's neat. But there's that one, and then this one I've been eyeing for years. They had made these since like 2012, so I got this for myself for Christmas, and it's pretty thick. The paper is pretty blindingly white. I really don't feel like untying that right now. I'm old, and yeah. This one I think I'm gonna use this for a kind of family journal. It's called Timeless Tree or something, and I think I'm gonna do it like kind of ancestry and put my family tree in here and on each side, and just kind of add to it as like a family history type journal. And then this one's ancient. This one I've had since I was a young teenager. My mother got it for me when I went to I studied I studied at college one semester and in high school, and it was just like a summer semester or whatever. But you got me this to take and document that. But I never used it, and I really wish I had back then. But it's got kind of interesting paper. I've never used this kind of paper, so I'm not sure if I'll really like it. But it's textured. Hopefully you can see that. But I added a few things from back then, like a few brochures and a few plane tickets, just stuff from back then. It's kind of cool. And then the texture this used to really bother me, so I Mod Podged it, and now I can actually touch it. So I want to use this at some point when I'm really nostalgic. I mean, I'm really nostalgic all the time, but when I really feel like living nostalgia. This one, okay, these two are from when I was young too. And I used these for notes for this youth organization I was involved in. So there was maybe like 10 pages of notes or less in each one, but we'd take our notebooks with us I think we met like twice a week. It was a lot. So I take these with me every week for at least a semester too. So these are pretty nostalgic, even though I didn't actually write that much in them. They just have neat quotes and stuff. And these are actually by C.R. Gibbs. And I was kind of looking through some of my old childhood notebooks and seeing what brand some of them were. And they're actually some C.R. Gibson / Markings ones. This one right here, we went to the Olympics once as a kid, and we did some charity stuff there, made some day camps and distributed water and volunteered and stuff. So this one, it was a group of youth and children, and one of the volunteer people, one of the leaders in it, who didn't go with us, but he was kind of still affiliated with the organization enough that he met us there before we left for the trip, and he had like a box of journals, and he told everyone to pick one out. So I picked this one out, and I have another one that's kind of a grayish purpley blue and it's kind of like not really marble looking, but just kind of textured. That was from back then. I used that one this past year, and it was really neat using an old journal that I had some nostalgia and connection to. And then this one is so blinged out. Check it out. Even the lock is like decked out. I got this one last year. I'd been wanting one of these since about 2007 or 2008, whenever they first came out, and they were always, I never could afford one, and I found a cheap one this year. They're kind of like not, I don't think this brand is really is around as much anymore. It's not as popular. But yeah, one of my relatives had polio as a kid, or her sibling had polio, and the President Truman sent them a Scotty dog on the train. So this kind of reminds me of that, and I really like crowns. It's kind of a neat symbol of like surviving life and conquering my demons. I know this is a really weird video, but that's nothing new. This one I've never shown you. This one I have had in my life for over a decade, and it was a really rough semester at school. So I'd written a handful of pages back then, strangely in a few different languages. Gonna save that for another story. But the pages that I had in here, I was a number of years ago, I was gonna just get rid of this because it was from a rough time, and it wasn't full. It was only maybe 10 pages or less filled. So I took out those pages and put in my kind of life summary journal, that purple one that I posted on Instagram the other day. But for some reason, years ago, I decided to keep this one. So I might take those pages, put them back in here, and eventually use this journal when, I've kind of conquered all my demons and my life's going good. I could use this as kind of like hey, I defeated this time of my life. But it is a really pretty journal. It's an old Barnes & Noble, and I actually remember going to that store and getting it, and I ran into 2 people I knew when I was younger there. They didn't know who I was, and I didn't say hi, but I just remember that day, which is kind of weird. And then this one's from when I was young too. And so old. I'm turning old next week. Just shoot me. But this one is Mary Englebright, and I wrote this one. I think I just used for notes and didn't leave the pages in because it's kind of thin. but I wrote my name in here in the cover anyway, so it's kind of, at least I've got that bit of nostalgia in here. I've never filled a spiral journal. My kind of life summary notebook, it was one I started to use one semester when I was trying to get into journaling one of the first times, and journaling didn't stick back then, so I just put it away, and then I found that journal a handful of years later, and you'd think I'd found like the lost treasure. I was so excited to find it. I wrote a summary of my life back then, and that was in like 2006, so every now and then I'll write a summary page still, so it's got a number of years worth of little small entries in there, but it's still not full anyway. And so I've never actually filled up a spiral one. I'm not sure if I'll actually like that. I might tie fabric on the side of this. Does anyone remember how we used to put fabric on flip-flops, like tie them in a knot, so it was like a fluffy pom-pom flip-flop back in the 90s or early 2000s? I kind of want to do that to the side of this journal, just because when you hold this, it's kind of cold, and I don't, bleh. So if I put like puffy thing on the side, that might be kind of fun. But yeah, Mary Englebright. And this one, I finally put in my journal box, like this box. I just kind of had it on the side as a potential school notebook. But I got this, I think, in 2008. I really hope this is oh good, it's recording. This is already 20 minutes. Oh my gosh, okay. From Linens and Things. And I was living in Tiny Town, so I've just had this forever. And alright, I'm going to start. Hurrying. These are actually not from when I was a child, but they remind me of my childhood. I had a pencil case in these designs. I actually found another pencil case online like a year or two ago, and now I have it again. But anyway, this one and this one, Lisa Frank. This one lights up. It's really blinding in person. And then these are equally blinding. I'd been wanting a holographic one in this kind of format. It looks like a Moleskin, but it's not a Moleskin. Anyway, in this type of size for years. So I was really excited to find these, and I'm going to use this one this year, at least one of those this year. And then I'm trying not to knock the camera stand. You're going to see my entire arm. Yum. Such an awkward thing to say. This one is one of the Colo ones, and the paper is kind of too white for me. I mean, the covers are nice and they're cute, and they make a lot of cute floral ones especially. But my friend was kind of eyeing this one, so I might give her that. I don't know. Since I found the other holograph one, like this one, this is really the type that I like to use. That's my ceiling. So we'll see. This one was in the second one I got in Florida, and it's one of those mermaid things like this. The paper's kind of average. Well, the paper's really sort of gross, but it's not that bad. It's thick enough. The texture kind of bothers me a little bit. It's a little bit too white, but the nostalgia is there, and I could take out the notebook inside and put in better paper. I'm not sure if I'll do that or not, but it's really fun looking anyway. And then last fall, for some reason, I found it necessary to get some large moleskins. I never actually used a large moleskin as a daily journal until my current one, the current rose gold one. But for some reason, I decided to buy some. I've been wanting this one for a few years, the Minion one. This is a pastel pink. I've been wanting a pastel pink one for so many years, ever since 2000. I think it was early 2007. I actually emailed Moleskin like, please make a pink moleskin pastel. Because they just used to make moleskins that just came in like straight up black, and it was the only color you could buy back then. So I was so excited to see this one even now. And a Minion one. This one just cracks me up. And then a Grinch one. I was really tempted to use this one over this Christmas, but I kind of wanted to ignore the fact that it was the holidays. The holidays can be really hell. So Grinch just cracks me up, and I'm going to use it at some point when I have like a festive holiday season. And then the soda one, I love Mountain Dew, but it was kind of cool looking. And then denim. For some reason, I'd been wanting a denim journal for a long time, and they actually, like, they're painted not so rustic, but I sanded it down because I didn't like that kind of bright, like super white with paint on this color. But I kind of want to get some small little patches, especially if I can find a Lisa Frank one, and then cover this up and just make it kind of vintage looking. Alright, we're halfway through. This is such a long video. But there's some fun ones coming up. Let me know if anyone's still watching. But, yeah. Alright, I'm just going to show it to you like this. This is my Tetris little notebook, and I have some Tetris stickers I'm saving for when I use it, but it's really colorful. It's really tiny. This would be kind of fun for a purse journal or travel journal or something. And the page edges are all like this. These stickers are really loud. Let's just kind of put that back over here. Okay, where am I going to put this? Okay, put it behind me. I kind of separate these out, like some of the older ones from when I was young I put in here, and then the other ones, more current ones, I put in here for some reason. This one, oh, so I have one more coming, and so we'll have 76 blanks again, but that's including some from my childhood. I have a Tetris sticker now that I don't know what to do with. I'm just going to put it on my thigh. But my other one is a Vhs Disney Journal that looks like the old Disney VHS tapes. And one of you guys suggested to me, so thank you for enabling. I bought the Lion King one for my birthday, and I'm really excited about that one. And I want to use that one this year. But this one is really neat, and it's the size mostly of a VHS tape. I tried to stick it in an old VHS case, but it wouldn't quite fit. But it's still, this will be a fun one. It's got plain paper, and it's a narrower size, and it's just really neat. I want to add an elastic to it, and find a way to keep it closed. But I was kind of waiting to use this one until it's got the VHS tape thing on the side, until I don't add in a whole lot of stuff, because if it puffs out too much it wouldn't look as VHS-y. Alright, my Tetris thing is going to bother me. Okay, there we go. I've got this Etch-a-Sketch one, and these are erasers. It's got an elastic on the back, which is kind of random. I mean, I guess I was just talking about putting an elastic on the VHS tape journal too, but yeah, anyway, it used to have a pencil in here that fell out, but each page has the openings for it, and you can actually, this paper you can easily tear out of here. I think it's meant to be just like a, kind of like Post-it notes, but not sticky, just kind of something that you don't keep. But I want to decorate it. I want to somehow decorate this and make it look like it's drawn with an Etch-a-Sketch. This will be fun to use at some point. And then this one has trees on every page, and the paper texture sort of bothers me, but it's got some glitter on. I really love this color of purple, like a pastel lavender. It's got an elastic that's actually really stretched out and kind of gross, but these are hard to find. This is a Peter Popper Press one. They don't make that one anymore. And then jacket journals. I've had these, I want to say, since 2007 or 2008, and I put different notebooks in here. I never have been able to find a notebook that really fits it well enough, so when you go like this, it's always going to kind of move around and annoy me. But I can't bring myself to get rid of it because I've had them forever now, and they're really cute. They're just kind of, they take up a lot of space for not a whole lot of pages, but yeah. And then these I've had since, I want to say 2007 or 2008 too. They're small, and they actually used to be address books, but I took out I took out the address books and put in other papers, so you can kind of tell that they're DIY a little bit on some of them. But I want to use these when I'm going through journals kind of quick. It'd be fun to have like half a year documented in a full rainbow. And then this one is an orange one. This one's actually lined pages, and I got this one. Oh, I thought it had something fun in here. It's just decorative tape. So it was probably 2013. Oh, no, this is the one that's DIY. The actual normal one is this one. I was wondering, I was like, I don't think I'd put tape just for no reason. Yeah, these used to come with lines, but the address books, they're really hard to find, so that's why I bought the address book variety. So like over a decade ago, and eventually switched them out. But I'll use this stuff at some point. So I got some questions like, why do I... Well, okay, I've gotten a few questions. Someone's like, why do you have so many? It's just like anything else that you enjoy doing. It's not you buy something you think it's cute, or you just want to buy yourself a happy that day or whatever, and you just it ends up adding up over the years. especially since I've been journaling for a little over 11 years regularly. It just kind of adds up, and occasionally, some people have people who give them journals as gifts. I've only gotten one. No, I've gotten 2 journals as a gift ever, so that usually doesn't happen to me. But I know some people get them as gifts a lot, and sometimes there's just a good deal, like those uh, paper blanks ones that I found clearance 75% off. These are actually paper blanks too, but the ones that I found half or 75% off, it was just a good deal. Sometimes it's just the sale price tempts you, or you just want something fun that day, or you want to buy something to kind of encourage your hobby. So it's just kind of, that's why. And some of that's why I got rid of blanks. They just had piled up. I'd found enough cheap ones that, or just felt like buying myself something that day a few years ago. For a number of years I was using pocket Moleskins is kind of my main one. And then fall 2013, I got that 600-page, super thick leather journal from Barnes & Noble, and I love that one. So I started branching out more into design. So after that, 2013 and after, for a few years, I just really got super into trying out different journals, and they kind of piled up because I was into like a journal shopping spree back then. But I still am glad I cleaned some out. I cleaned out probably a few dozen, gave them to a friend who was doing like an online garage sale basically, because she got laid off and was trying to move across the country and find another job. So I gave them to her, and I think I gave a few other to friends, and I like that I consolidated, because most of these, if I look through, I'm like, okay, which one should I get rid of? I don't feel like getting rid of them. There's a few that maybe I consider, but most of them I really like and think I'll use now, while before, when I had the other ones, they were cute or pretty, but just I couldn't picture myself using them. Either the size or the paper wasn't my thing, or the design was cute but not really something that just makes me happy, like this Lisa Frank one. And I'm really pale, I know, I realize that. But yeah, these 2 are from spring 2007, and it's kind of like a gift from my future self with these, or gift to my future self from my past self. I decorated these back then, and they're really pretty. I've just been saving them for the right time when I want to do some nostalgia. I'd written a little bit about myself in here, like a bio page, and now it's over a decade old, so this will be really fun to use when I feel like using these little things. They're really tiny. So I'll show you the 2 gifts ever that I've gotten as 2 journals ever that I've gotten as gifts, and I'm going to take it out of the package. This was a Bombay company one. I loved that store. They actually are still in Canada, apparently. And they have a web store now, so bombaycompany.com, I'm pretty sure. But they used to be in shopping malls, if you're not old. They used to be in shopping malls, and they had kind of exotic world-looking stuff, like home decor, and sometimes journals and neat little wooden memory boxes, just kind of fancy, ornate things. Christmas 2006, I had a boss who gave me this, and he was, she's trying to be nice and encouraging or whatever, and I was young, and gave me this and said something like, every good writer needs a good journal. I thought it was really nice, so I've been saving this one for the right time too, and it's really pretty. I had a job as a writer, so it wasn't just really random. I've never actually had bosses or anything that knew I was into writing, like journal writing, but I had a job as like a editor, so she kind of figured I was into writing because of that, I guess. And then this one, a childhood friend gave me this one in, actually wrote what we did. I wrote a page from 2008, so Christmas 2008, she gave me this, and I don't know her anymore really, but I really like the colors of it, and it's got decorative pages, and it was thoughtful, so at some point I think I'll enjoy this. It's got spiral bound, never use it fully. It's got this on every single page, but I guess I could redo this. I'm pretty sure we watched Indian in the Cupboard that night. Oh, and I wrote a bio page from 2007 in here. So I'll have a nice little note for my past self whenever I use this one. I used to like doing that when I buy a new journal. I'd write an about me page, so a semester, a few years later, or whatever, I could have a note from my past in it. I don't do that with blank journals anymore, because sometimes it kind of tinges it. Like if I had a rough year, I wouldn't really want something that said, like, reminded me of a rough year, like from a previous few years ago. But anyway, this one is a Piccadilly one, and this one's okay. So these journals are getting really hard to find. This is a medium essential notebook, and they have a few colors. Like the lavender one, they don't make anymore. I've been trying to find it everywhere. I used to have, and I really enjoyed them. For writing anyway. If I don't, this paper, if you want a watercolor, wouldn't do it for you. I tried watercoloring on one, it really piled up, but for writing it's fine. And they, at like discount bookstores, like half price, these are about $5, and same in Barnes & Noble clearance, but my Barnes & Noble does not carry these anymore, and they actually don't have paper blanks either. And I've really had a hard time finding Piccadilly brand in general. I can't find them on barnesandnoble.com. I've tried a few different Barnes & Nobles in a few different states and a few other bookstores, and I'm just not seeing these anymore. So I'm not sure if it's just my region or just they happen to be like out right now, or if they're actually kind of not being made as much. Because I looked up, even online, I was trying to find some Piccadilly brand that had publication dates in recent few months, and I couldn't find them. But maybe it's just kind of a lull in production, and they'll make some new ones soon. I don't know. But you actually can custom order. I really wanted that lavender one. It took me forever to find it. When I found those two that I got, I wish I'd bought more because I love that color, and they don't make them anymore. But if you do a custom run, you can get them to make you some yourself. If you want an order of 1,000. So if there's 1,000 of us that want a lavender journal, then we might be able to swing that. Anyway, this little Moleskin. Okay, did I show you? I have, oh, here it is. I'm like, where did that go? This one I got, I want to say probably 5 years ago now, but I haven't really used pocket size in a long time. Back in fall 2013, I mostly switched because it was starting to hurt my hand when I wrote in small notebooks like this. So I finally got this large one a few months ago, and apparently cassette tapes have been out 50 years. And yeah, it just looks like an old cassette tape, and I love nostalgia, so that's cool. This one's a cute little thing. This one, this is like this is already a half an hour video. Yikes. This one has a googly eye in it. Crystal said I should put a googly eye in there, and it really makes it. I used to have some locks on my door in Tiny Town that were kind of old like this. Not quite this fancy, but they were old. This kind of reminds me of that. I'm gonna speed rush through the rest. This one is an owl one, and this one's another one that I'm tempted to use this year. The leather's nice. It's a soft cover though. And it's got these page edges that this jagged stuff kind of comes off and makes a mess. I'm not sure. I know my camera sucks. Maybe how would I do this? Where is my flash? Okay, if I go like this, you can see it. It's just this kind of page edges. Then this little one, I gave myself for Christmas a few years ago. My grandpa had given the grandkids like Christmas money, so I bought this with this, and this reminds me of that. I have no grandparents left, so it's kind of neat to have something like an old gift that I can still enjoy from them later on. And my grandma's ring, just kind of fun, neat heirlooms. I mean, that journal's not an heirloom, but it was a gift from the past to my future self. Anyway, this one I got spring 2007, and it's been waiting. I've been waiting for the right time to use it. Some number of years ago, I actually thought I'd thrown this out, and I found it again, so I was pretty excited. But it's got multicolored pages, and I think this is it's got a note from my past self in here, and I also put a pocket. It didn't come with a pocket, but had an elastic. I don't see the brand. I want to say it's Paper Chase, but anyway, I have this autograph page in the back of some of my old journals from 2007 or so, and I would sign every now and then when I was looking through my blank journal. So this has over a decade worth of my signatures, which is really fun. I'm pretty sure that's, oh yeah, it is Paper Chase. Okay, so this is Paper Chase. I did glue down the dots because they were coming off, but the thing is really old. This one is another paper blanks, and I've used a handful of this size and style, and I really like them. They're really pretty, and they take not watercolor, they take paint okay. When I used to collage a lot in these, I wish this was in the center because that kind of bothers my OCD a little bit, but they're really elegant, and I really like these. It's 5x7, a size I like too. And then this Sanrio Spotty Dotty one. It's got multicolored pages. And I'm kind of waiting for like this one when I'm I'm into nostalgia now, but I'm not sure if I want to like see it every single day of my life. So I'm kind of waiting for the right time. And then another Sanrio one. Vintage. Yeah, I miss the 90s. They had cute stuff like this. And then my camera was literally like, you've reached the maximum recording space for a video. Recording limit length. This is such a long video. But anyway, this one is the Big Bang Theory journal, and my roommate agreement is really long, like Sheldon's. Yeah, seriously specify stuff like if you want to live with a non-smoker and where they can smoke and the occupancy too. Some people will try to bring in extra people to live with you free, like they'll want their boyfriend or girlfriend to stay for like half the week, and then you're over a city occupancy limit. So like specify stuff like that. And same with like late payments and on rent and everything. And expectations of like, you know, reasonable quiet hours. Like my neighbors would flip if I had a party until 3 a.m. and was loud outside. This journal, I started using as a travel journal back in a handful of years ago. So I wrote a few pages in it, and that's kind of why I haven't used it yet. I love this color, but a few pages from back then kind of tinges it for me. That was kind of not my year back then, like a few years ago. So that journal kind of reminds me of back then. This journal is, I put a few childhood stickers on. It's a Toy Story one. And it's got decorative rocket ships. And then this one is a vintage Milky journal. And this one's going to be really fun. It's got black paper and gel pens kind of look like this on it. These are, what do you call them? Jelly roll. Secure jelly roll pens on it. And when you color, it's just kind of, like it gets a little, the paper is a little, maybe porous or something. But I think it'll be fun to use this one. I still have some Milky pens that I bought used a handful of years ago, whenever it was, to use with this. I think it'll be really fun. I've never used a full blank journal with black paper, so that's really rare and neat. And this one I'm so tempted to use soon. I have a bedspread like this too in another room, but it's Lisa Frank, and every page is like not just rainbow leopard print, but chevron on top of that. And that's kind of why I haven't used it yet, because I love leopard print and Lisa Frank, but chevron on top of that is just a bit much even for me. But it's got more stuff in the back, and I decorated it already. That one I'm gonna be obsessed with. I just love this one. I wish I could find a pencil case that matched that. Then another Toy Story, When You Got a Friend in Me, and I really like that because that's kind of what journaling tends to be for me. Something to confide to when you can't bring yourself to do that with humans. And a way to document my life too. This one is another one. I started collaging in here, and I think this was a few years ago. But I'm thinking about, I don't really feel like using this one as a normal journal, since I have another pink one. It's fabric. I'm thinking about doing a traveling journal again, if anyone's interested in trying that again. I know it kind of fizzled out a few years ago, or it got lost or whatever, but I kind of want to do that again, and then maybe we could add different pages and just maybe flip through at the end so everyone could see what everyone else added. I think it'd be really neat. And then this one, guess it's a lock from another thing that fell off. Great. But yeah, this one I'm saving for the right time. It's a Tiffany one. I put my grandma's earring on here. And with stuff like, adding stuff like that to the side, I don't put stuff that's irreplaceable. Like there's another earring I put on my charm bracelet, so if that one falls off, I still have something else. I'd kind of suggest doing that, because if you add something to a bookmark, the bookmark itself could fall off, or the little charm could fall off pretty easily. I've had that happen. But anyway, this one, this kind of reminds me of like gift wrap. And then these are old, like me. In a week anyway, I will be. These are from 2007 also. I've been saving them. They have a few about me pages from back then, so that'll be kind of neat. And same with signatures, like my autographs page in the back. I'll sign my name. So I've got my handwriting here from 2007, which is kind of cool. And then this one I bought a few years ago after I did a Times Square New Year's again. I just made kind of a holiday for myself and did a bunch of sightseeing around the city and stuff. So this one I bought to remember that. And then one of these is from a road trip with a friend. We went to a writers group and we didn't have a notebook, so we had road trip that day to deliver a dog to some other state. I don't really remember anymore, but we had to get a journal anyway. And I bought this one and wrote a few pages in it. And then this one was another one that they actually don't make either of these anymore. These are Barnes & Noble, but they're vintagey looking, and they're 5x7, and I actually sprayed it with, I want to say like a sample of Chanel or something, Chanel number 5 back then, and you can, or no, I think it was Burberry Brit. Oh yeah, that's Burberry Brit. And I love the smell, but it still smells, and this was like a handful of, probably like 4 years ago now, so if you spray perfume in a journal, you might want to not put that much, because I doused it. I thought the scent would really fade a lot, and it really hasn't. So yeah, anyway, there are my blanket journals. I hope you like this. Let me know, and let me know if anyone's still watching. I know this is really long, but I like them long, so hopefully you do too. I just like seeing the types of journals people use. I know it's kind of a like random variety. There's like flashing stuff and then vintage, and that's kind of what I like about it. It's just whatever you're feeling at the time, you can find a journal to match. And yeah, this is weird. All right, have a good night. Bye.